I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
But in the kingdom, we're going to have that power like the angels, but we're going to be what you call extraterrestrial. In other words, we're not going to be regular terrestrial like we are right now. Because what happened is, in the ancient world, we had that power. We had that power when we were on a level like gods. But what happened is, the Most High took that power from us. Over the generations and over the years, the Lord took that power from us. But we're going to get that back. We're going to get that power back coming into the kingdom.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
When we think about the kingdom, most brothers think of like the small, minute terms. But the vastness of the kingdom, the greatness of the kingdom, dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the information alone that we're going to receive when we get to the kingdom. That's on a whole nother level. Never mind the riches and the lands and the women and the children, and to be in your chariot, sipping some yayan, on your chalice, your gold chalice with all them rubies and emeralds and sapphires and the different precious stones, going to places.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
No one, no matter how vivid a brother's imagination is, there's nothing in comparison to what's coming. You can't even imagine. You can't even paint it the picture or write it to words or give an explanation that even comes close to the majesty that's coming. We are destined for greatness in the new righteous kingdom.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
The brother with the most vivid imagination out there can't imagine what the kingdom of heaven has in store, what it's going to be like. What we're basing the kingdom of heaven as far as riches and having a good time and things of that nature is just based off of our experiences in this world and what we think having a good time is and living the life is. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. There are pleasures forevermore at thy right hand. So the kingdom that's coming is going to be set up and established in righteousness. The Israelites are going to be changed. Thy people shall be all righteous. Not one Israelite is going to be lost, because the promise that the Most High made to Abraham was to all that seed. And the seed of the promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Every seed that came out of Jacob is a part of the ones that are going to receive the benefits that the Most High promised to blessed Abraham.
The transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down. According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation. Hopefully, they got there pushing His word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All right. And I want to get into this morning, it's another morning news and prophecy, and going into how, AI, is scamming, already, got a few videos. All right. And the devils, they're trying to, under the table, roll out, this surveillance, infrastructure, okay, under the nose of, the masses, all right, and just the wickedness that the devil is up to, the scriptures, all right, go into, how, there's none more crafty or more subtle, okay, than Esau Edom, when you go into these heathens, okay, well, on the left-hand side, there's none that's more crafty and subtle than this devil, okay, because we have to understand the spirit of the serpent, okay, is at work, all right, and this devil, has tapped in, the Lord has allowed him to tap into this technology, okay, to where, his wickedness is only amplified. You see, people, look at, as if, technology itself is wicked, or certain system that he has set up, okay, but ultimately it's he himself, is how he utilizes, everything that he has control of. He uses, okay, to magnify his wickedness, man. Okay, that's why when you go here to the book of Job, chapter 14, in verse 5 and verse 4, okay, it says, who can make a clean thing out of an unclean? All right, no one. Okay, and the thing is, the devil just ain't right. You see, this devil, he's just not right, and he's built to be right. Okay, and people have, this hope, okay, that the devil, one day is going to do right. Okay, it never happened. All right, that's why he just set up to be judged and removed from power and ultimately removed from the earth. Okay, the problem is him. You can't make something clean. People are trying to vote their way out of this corruption. People are trying to, figure out a new economic strategy, a new government system. And nah, man, this devil, you can't make it right. Okay, there's no way to make this system right within this system. Okay, because it's rooted in wickedness, it's rooted in deception. Okay, it's rigged, okay, for the favor, all right, of Esau Edom, okay, and mainly what the elites, okay. So there's nothing, all right, that you can do to this system to fix it. It just has to be destroyed, okay, because the people that run this system ain't right. So no matter what you put in, capitalism, okay, socialism, fascism, this ism, that is, it don't matter what you put in, okay, it's still all right gonna be corrupt because the man that's running it is corrupt. Okay, let's go here to the book of Jeremiah. All right, chapter 13. Okay, and verse 23. Okay, Jeremiah 13 and 23, and it says, "Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leper his spot? Okay, then ye also, all right, can do good, who are accustomed to evil and even trained to do it." Okay, so this devil can't change his nature, and that's to be wicked, that's to be corrupt, that's to be conniving, deceptive, and shisty, and grimy. Okay, no matter how much technology he has and how much wealth he has, and you know, it doesn't matter that he's in the position to do good. He can't do good. Okay, this devil is trained to do evil, to do wickedness. Okay, and how you think he's gonna train this AI? You think AI is gonna be just? Okay, people think, well, you know, since the system is so corrupt, AI is gonna come and correct everything. No, AI is programmed by the devil. Okay, it's still rooted in him. AI is an extension, okay, of Esau, Edom, the wicked. All right, so it's going to do, okay, like the wicked. Okay, so this man can't do good. It's not in him, and anything that he presents, anything that he comes up with, any type of system, all these things that he do, quantum easing, raise the interest rate. Everybody's saying what Jerome Powell going to do with the interest rates to try to, ease inflation and all this, everything that this man is doing, because you can get into all that and, you know, but at the end of the day, the problem is Esau, man. Okay, you go into consumer spending and, you know, dividends and all this shit, man. This nigga wicked, man. When you get through going through all this shit, this nigga wicked, and he gonna keep being the wicked. Okay, and he's trying to find a way to be more wicked. Okay, that's the gist. Okay, of what we're dealing with this guy, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Okay, let's get this, as it says in I think it's 2 Corinthians 11. Okay, and people look at this man, with hope, and then they put these people in front of you like they're really trying to fix the system, and you know, as if they just have your best interest in mind. And, okay, like they just tossing and turning in their bed till they figure out how to make your life better, how to fix the system, for your sake. Okay, that's not what's happening, man. Okay, this man is the devil. Okay, and everything he presents is gonna be wicked and corrupt. Okay, people are excited about this technology, like this is gonna begin to fix problems. Nah, man, this is just this man herding you into a digital enslavement. Okay, that's what's happening, man. Okay, the system shiesty because he's shiesty. Okay, 2 Corinthians 11:14, it says, and no wonder, since Satan himself masquerades as an angel of life, an angel of light. Okay, you see, so we don't marvel at this devil's wickedness because we don't expect nothing else, and that's the one of the perks of being in the light. Okay, we understand that this is this man's nature. Okay, we're not optimistic that the so-called white man gonna get his shit together one day. That's not in the plans. It's not in him. The Most High didn't create him for that, man. Okay, He was created to be the wicked. He can't operate outside of it, man. Okay? And like brothers get into, if he do it good, okay, in the end, you'll really see why he even did that. You know? So he presents himself, okay, with this, he put on this suit and tie, okay, or this lab coat, and then he comes to the microphone and speaks on how, he's just all into trying to fix the problems of humanity, and, while they're just working tirelessly around the clock until they get it right. No, man, it's the exact opposite, man. Okay, he's trying to figure out how to be more shiesty, how to be more deceptive, how to get more control of you, man. Okay, how to force you to modify your behavior into wickedness and rebellion, man. Okay, nothing that this man does, he's doing it with your benefit in mind. Okay, but he masquerades as this angel of light. That he's taking humanity to, he's transcending beyond, anything the Most High can offer. Okay, so I want to go here because it's got this video. You see, kind of evil E. What else can he be, man? Okay, so I got this. Okay, now a lot of people shop, with these apps. Okay, and when you shop online, okay, well, you're subjugated to them, all right, to price gouge, okay, real time, okay, and they use AI, okay, to charge different people different prices, man, okay, which they're supposed to be against the law, supposedly, you see, but these devils, have used AI, okay, to scam. You see, Esau's a scam artist, man. Okay, so if you think AI is gonna be right because it's supposed to be this super intelligent and know all, entity, and you think, okay, AI can make mistakes. The AI, okay, is not biased. Okay, so let's play this, man. I thought this was interesting, man. But just shows you that, right, the devil is the problem, man. Okay, it's the man behind the technology. That's the problem.
All right, y'all. So we need to talk about this. There's this bombshell report that just came out. Here's More Perfect Union covering it. There is a secret corporate scheme to raise grocery prices illegally, and it's tied back to AI algorithms. They are using AI algorithms to illegally price gouge you and rip you off, and they're being deceptive about it, and they're basically hiding that fact. So let's take a look at this, and we'll break it down.
The holy grail for a long time has been, what if we could charge every single person the maximum amount that we know they're able to or willing to pay?
They know things about us that we don't know. They're smarter than us, and we're training them in a way that is incalculable.
Walk into any grocery store, and on average, everything is about 30% more expensive than it was in 2020.
Inflation, supply chains,
tariffs. We've heard it all. But what if something else is happening? Something intentional. What if someone is charged $2 for these eggs, but another person is charged $2.40 at the same exact store? And it's pushing prices up. 5 months ago, a researcher reached out to me about Instacart. She'd been studying the Washington, D.C. workforce. Different pay for nearly identical work. Her question, if they do this to workers, what about consumers? Before joining More Perfect Union, I worked in grocery pricing, so I agreed to help investigate. The problem? It wasn't easy to test. Grocery prices change all the time, for legitimate reasons. Receipts you can't compare. If we wanted to do this, we'd need a team, a researcher, community organizers, other journalists, and most importantly, regular people who care. Lots of them. 5 months of digging. What we found is bigger than Instacart. Yes, inflation is real, but something else has been pushing prices higher this whole time. There's a system, one that grocery stores and tech companies built together. It learns from every purchase.
It's not just online. It's in the physical stores you walk into, with the primary goal, maximize profit.
Day by day, it's moving billions of dollars, 1 penny at a time.
Here's how we uncovered it, how it's turning the grocery business into a gold mine, and why, without regulation, your grocery bill may keep climbing no matter what happens with inflation.
I'm now going to ask you to take out your phone, and we're going to get started with shopping for 20 items at the Safeway.
This is Katie Wells. She's the director of research at Groundwork Collaborative. She's the one who reached out. The plan was pretty simple. Get everyone in a room, open up Instacart, select the same store, same items, on phones and computers. Select pickup to remove any delivery calculations, and write our basket totals down on a note card. All to test a simple question. Were shoppers being charged different amounts for the same exact item at the same exact store and time?
Congratulations, guys. You have finished the test.
First, we all shared our cart totals.
We're in the same room, the same address ordering, and we still had different prices.
You're the highest.
I'm not surprised. What I've come to understand is that a lot of things that we do online is predicated on algorithms.
Different totals. There's plausible explanations, promotions, user error, app issues. But if the items themselves had different prices, that's something else.
The items had upwards of 3 different prices offered.
Katie analyzed the data.
The greatest difference was about a 70-cent spread. For eggs, the prices varied from $4.59 to $4.69 down to $4.28.
By the way, let me just point out real quick, a record-breaking number of people are now using Klarna, buy now, pay later, for food, for groceries. And this is at the same time, they're using AI algorithms to price gouge you illegally, by the way, totally illegally.
It was a 41-cent span.
One store, one moment in time. It's a small sample size. This could be a fluke.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have found your way to the Consumer Reports grocery pricing webinar.
The problem with testing any of this is that these systems are so massive that you need scale to even try. Consumer Reports joined the collaboration. They brought a volunteer network, community organizers, a report. Alongside them, we recruited volunteers, over 400 people. Same process. Everyone opens Instacart. Same store, same items. When pickup wasn't available, same delivery address. Same moment. Screenshot everything. Submit. The team verified every entry, cross-checked every screenshot, built the database. Katie crunched the data. And when the data came back, I gotta be honest, I stared at it for a while because what we found was weird. I'm gonna show you some basket totals. Some people were charged about $114 for the 20 items. Others, nearly $124.
This wasn't in 1 or 2 cases. This was the lion's share of shoppers for the lion's share of items.
So they go on with this test. They do it a number of times. They find out every single time it's the exact same thing, that the prices are changing for people shopping for the same items at the same place at the same moment, but on their phones. Then they contact the grocery stores and tell them, and they say, oh, that's not us, that's Instacart. Then they contact Instacart and they go, oh, that's not us, that's the grocery store. Then they catch them red-handed in the act. One of them changes their website to hide some of the shit, some of the information they were looking for. They're caught in real time. And again, the reason they're doing this is because what they're doing here is illegal. This is AI price fixing. This is AI price fixing is what it is. And so you're not allowed to charge people a different number based on their demographics. But they have a way where they skirt around that, where they go, oh, no, it's not based on demographics. It's based on like other data points that are not demographics. This is wildly illegal. So price gouging you for every single extra fucking penny at the same time, people are struggling worse than ever.
This didn't happen overnight.
So, just to expound on what these devils are using AI to do, because AI, is to, remembers your patterns, so it know how much, you're spending a month, so they'll charge, this user, let's say, me and someone else goes on Instacart, to shop on, Instacart. Well, they'll look at the patterns of how much, that we've each been spending per week, per month, and they come up with, well, he's able to afford a little more. Let's charge him a little more. He's been consistently spending, a certain amount, so we can charge him a little more. We charge her a little more, for the same item at the same time. Okay, so they have AI set up to squeeze every penny out of you, man. If we can charge him 8 cents more, let's do it, according to, the algorithm of how he's spending. He has this much, he can afford this much. They're pretty much AI counting your pockets, man. Okay, so they shaking people upside down. All right, they got AI, okay, shaking you upside down, man. You know, patting you down like Debo, man. Okay, getting every penny they can get. This man is the wicked, man. People are already catching hell, and this nigga has found a way for AI to count your pockets, man. This is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Nobody did it like Eve. You know, when it comes to wickedness, nobody does it like Eve, man. He is, all right, the GOAT. Okay? He's coming from the free throw line with it. All right. So yeah, man, these people are noticing that you know, that AI, you know, is being used to price gouge. And I noticed that too, even with I don't know if you know a lot of brothers have did the ride share, you know, but they charge people differently based on where you picking them up from. You know, it's a different scale. You know, they charge you different based on the time of day, and it's all to maximize profit, man. Okay, certain bonuses, you know, for peak hours and you know high demand. You know, but it's all just based on maximizing profit. Okay, for these corporations, man. Okay, so AI coming out the gate, shiesty as hell. Okay, and you think when these devils get a complete surveillance system up and running, it's gonna be some type of utopia for you people, man. Okay, and this nigga can't even do right by Instacart. Okay, and you think this nigga get a whole surveillance system on your ass? Okay, get you tapped, you know, get you plugged into his system, merge you with his machinery. You think this nigga gonna do right? Okay, all right. So let's play a little more of this.
20 years of building this infrastructure, it was kept in check by inertia. Everyone was afraid to raise prices. COVID changed that.
There's no guardrails. It's a free-for-all. It's wild, wild west.
Companies are investing millions into systems designed to outsmart you. Testing, learning, finding the maximum profit.
The holy grail for a long time has been, what if we could charge every single person the maximum amount that we know they're able to or willing to pay? Studies like this are just validating that firms are very much already midway through trying this, executing it.
That's Lina Khan, former chair of the Federal Trade Commission. She agreed to review our findings with an eye to how we should protect consumers.
This could ultimately end up being another big form of wealth transfer from ordinary Americans to massive corporations.
I asked about the in-store testing apparatus, electronic shelf labels, the patents.
Firms have been trying to figure that out for many decades, but I think what's different now is both the sophistication of the tools that are available, just the deep information asymmetries that exist between consumers and these firms that are benefiting.
But there was something else that concerned her.
When you have companies like Instacart that could be facilitating, it could also ultimately allow firms that really should be competing against one another when setting these prices to actually engage more in something that looks like price fixing or collusion.
Boom. That's exactly right. That's exactly what's happening. And so you need to enforce the antitrust laws and break these fuckers up. That's what you have to do. And Lina Khan, the former chair of the FTC, she was a crusader for working people, doing exactly that. But when the Republicans get in charge, the exact opposite. Let the billionaires and the corporations run.
And see, these people still think from a low level, you know, and they still think that the government has authority to break these companies up. No, that's long gone. Okay, that's long gone. All right. All right. It don't matter Democrat or Republican, these corporations gonna do the same thing. All right. And a lot of these, like I say, a lot of these people and on these different podcasts, these alternative news, they still have, you know, some type of hope. Okay, that if they can just get the right Democrat in, okay, things will be better. Okay, it's the same nation of people. They're Edomites. Okay, Edomites gonna be Edomites every time. Okay, Esau ain't gonna never disappoint when it comes to being the wicked. If anything, he gonna surprise you like, God damn, you know, he pulled that off. You know, when it comes to being wicked. You see? So let's I got another one. I got another video I want to get into. Okay. But now, man, these big corporations, Okay, they run the government. All right, and with AI, okay, in the mix, okay, that just gives them more, okay, ability, okay, to shake you people down. Okay, there's no bigger mob than the big corporations. You know, that's the biggest mob it is. All right, Esau and these big corporations. You know, and just to show a picture of what AI is doing to you people before we segue to the next video. Okay. So now they got a way. All right, to shake you people upside down. Okay. Whatever you got in there, whatever you got left. Okay. They don't care nothing about, you know, your day 94 on my homeless journey. They don't care about you living in a car. Okay. They're like, nigga, what you got left? Okay, give me that. All right. The Esau want what's in the ashtray. You know, it changed, you have in the ashtray or the armrest, okay, in the corner. Yeah, he want that. Give me that too. You know? So this is the mindset of Esau Edom, man. Okay, you people crying on the internet. Life ain't affordable no more. That nigga don't care about that. All right? He like, nigga, what you got left? Nigga, give me that. All right? So let's go here, because what these devils are doing also, let's segue here to, because scripture say, well, he can never have enough, so he can never be satisfied. Matter of fact, let's get those real quick. And let's segue, okay? And you go to the book of Habakkuk, all right, chapter 2. It's the book of Habakkuk, all right, chapter 2, verse 5. All right, let me get this in KJV. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keep it at home. Okay? So this man is all throughout the earth, seeing what he can take. Okay, he's proud. You see, he drunk off, okay, his own wine. Okay? He feels that he's entitled to everything. Okay, even your thoughts. Okay? You see? So this man is just stumbling around the earth, drunk off his own wine, proud as hell, all over the place, man. Okay, so he steals, all right, resources from nation. He steals everything from nation's resources, okay, to the few pennies that you got. Okay, it said, who enlarges his desire is hell and is death and cannot be satisfied. Okay, hell speaking of the great, because what the earth is meant to break down bodies, so you can never put too many bodies in the grave. It will just break it down, ready for the next. Okay, well, then that's how this devil is with his greed. Okay, he's a niggard. He can never have enough. Okay, so this man is about is taking more. He can never be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap it unto him all people, man. All right, and now to the point he wants you. Okay, he wants your spirit now. He wants to change what you are. Okay, because he's not satisfied with having you financially in shambles. Okay, he wants to get inside you now. Okay, because he done he pretty much tapped you out financially. Now he wants to get inside you. Okay, He wants to get into your neurological system, your DNA. He wants to tap into that now. You see? So this devil is meant not to be satisfied, man. Okay? And you think that this man is scratching his head trying to figure out how to do right by you. You don't know what you're dealing with. Okay? So let's go back. I got this video too, because what these devils are trying to do, all right, you got this surveillance company called Flock. Okay? And you don't hear a lot about it. Okay? Because they're quietly, all right, setting up cameras everywhere. Okay? And they're not making a big deal about it at all. Okay? So it's just this little company just floating around, getting these contracts with these subdivisions and, you know, these cities and, you know, local law enforcement. Okay? And they just setting up cameras everywhere. Okay? Just like on, you know, you brothers and sisters that seen the dealing with China, you know, old Lulu. Okay, walking around China, you know, cameras everywhere. Okay, well, they're rolling this system out here, but they're doing it quietly, man. Okay, our people are distracted. You know, they probably throw another, you know, government shutdown in the mix. Okay, the talks in UK about, you know, they having to, you know, they're going into, you know, these lockdowns about the flu. So they don't tell them what this devil finna do, man. All right? Well, we just gonna be locked step with this nigga, man. Okay? In the spirit, you know. So let's play this, all right? Dealing with these surveillance, okay, systems being set up, the surveillance infrastructure. All right, because a major part of the digital public infrastructure is surveillance. All right, so they're able to surveil and watch and track real time. Okay, so let's play this.
Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland on the Majority Report. It's a pleasure to welcome to the program Jessica Burbank, a investigative journalist and contributor to DropSite News. And Jessica, thanks for coming on. You've written a piece and did a hour-long documentary on Flock, and specifically how it had to deal with a town in Westchester County up in just outside of New York City. But this is something that we've been hearing from our listeners happening all across the country. A lot of this going on in Colorado, in Denver, I should say, in Washington State. This is happening all across the country. What is Flock?
So thanks for having me. Hello, Majority Report. Flock is a $7.5 billion company, which is crazy. They grew extremely big through securing government contracts largely behind closed doors. And what they do is they produce license plate readers, live view cameras, sort of surveillance technology. And they sell this to police departments and say this will help you solve crime. But really what they offer is not just this like AI powered license plate reading technology. They offer a network of license plate reading technology across the entire country that is searchable and usable by whatever law enforcement signs a contract with them.
So, and this is happening on like a municipal level, or is it happening on a state level, or both?
It's crazy. It's municipal. So you would think that mass surveillance coming to America would be this thing that Congress has to vote on, and there would be heated debate and people would talk about it on the nightly news. Not at all. It's a police chief comes to a city council, whatever municipal body you have. In the case of Scarsdale, it was the village board. And they usually through quiet consent agendas where it's lumped in with a sum of what's supposed to be non-controversial policy items, routine stuff. And they say, yeah, we would like to have $60,000. In the case of Scarsdale, it was over $1 million to implement license plate reading cameras all over town. And the town board typically votes these through without any public notice, any debate, without it even being an agenda item.
I mean, so they coming in the back door. Okay, these devils are coming in the back door. All right, with this surveillance. Okay, so basically, there's no vote about Congress about installing these cameras everywhere. Okay, there's no reports going out on major media outlets. Okay, so you can just have your local police chief, okay, request, all right, for Flock Security, to get a contract with Flock Security, okay, and he can make the request. The federal, all right, sends the money to the state sends the money to the city, all right, and the city gets in contract with this Flock Security, all right, this Flock Surveillance, all right, company, and they just come set up cameras. Okay, the public doesn't know about it. Okay, so they're coming in through the back door, because how easy is it to go get a police chief, okay, to get him to sell out, go request this thing, you see, go request this Flock technology, this surveillance, okay, then the money comes down from the federal government for this, okay, and then they just set up cameras everywhere. Okay, the people don't know, nobody is knowing about this, and they're going to go into it, and they already have these cameras set up in 49 states. Okay, nobody has ever heard of Flock. I'm hearing about it last week, because they're saying that Flock technology helped them track the guy that supposedly shot the 2 National Guards. It was Flock technology that helped them out. Okay, and they didn't even call it Flock. They just said, certain surveillance technology, So this is what these devils are doing. They're rolling out, okay, this surveillance infrastructure in the back door, okay, while everybody else is, arguing about nothing, okay.
The fact that this is Scarsdale, for people that are outside of New York, I would be hard pressed to think of a wealthier, more affluent suburb in New York State. It's kind of notorious for that. Were you trying to highlight Scarsdale for a particular reason on that front? I know you highlighted other communities in your piece as well, but the fact that it's there too, I think, says a lot.
Yeah, I grew up not far away from Scarsdale in Stamford, Connecticut. My dad's a contractor. And he said, Scarsdale is this crazy rich town. And it's so wealthy that they ship such expensive rock and landscaping in that it's a part of the village code that you can't ship any of it out without a special permit. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. And I had a friend in town, Josh Frankel, who's in the documentary and quoted a lot in the piece. We'd worked together before, and he was messaging me like every day. It's so crazy what's happening here with this Flock stuff. We're getting these license plate readers. It's mass surveillance. And finally, one day I got on the phone with him and he explained it. And I did an online search, what's going on with Flock. There was hardly anything, like no coverage. So how does a mass surveillance company that's $7 billion in size, with funding from Andreessen Horowitz and Founders Fund, Peter Thiel money, how is it this big with no mainstream coverage? And so I immediately knew there was a story here, but I got lucky that I knew someone in a town where this was happening live. And we could catch the village board as they tried to bury this. I talked to Flock on the phone. Flock will talk to me. They're very secretive, but it was a really lucky turn of events. And Scarsdale was perfect because there were so many people in town, including people like Charles Seife, who are NSA, former employees. They're really aware of what this technology can do. So it was lucky that it was an affluent town where people had time to show up and fight this, which might not be the case in a working class town.
I'm looking at a website, banishbigbrother.com/Flock camera map, and it's nuts. There are so many of these all around the country, and it definitely feels like this was the strategy. We can go in and be a lot quieter about this and a lot more successful in going city by city rather than going on a federal level to do this. But what's the pitch? Like, I mean, I don't know, I know Scarsdale by reputation, but is there that much crime there that somebody on the city council is going like, oh yeah, we need to have like all of this? Is it like, how are they securing these contracts where I would imagine municipalities are like, we don't have a lot of money to throw around necessarily, unless you're like, in the midst of some type of like crazy crime spree. I can't even see how this would be entertained.
Scarsdale's a famously safe town. Their main crimes are petty larceny and identity theft, not things that these cameras are going to solve. I mean, the petty theft was the neighborhoods are so safe that people were told by the village board at one point, stop locking your keys in your car. So license plate readers aren't going to solve these kinds of crimes. So why was it that they needed 172 surveillance cameras in a town like Scarsdale? The money was not in the village budget. It was expected to come from a federal grant, which didn't.
Yeah, so the reason is the surveillance state. Okay? It's not about the crime in this city that they're speaking on. It's about setting up infrastructure for the surveillance state. Okay, and she said, well, the money wasn't in the budget, but it's coming through a federal grant. Okay, showing you that, look, they got all the money needed when it comes to setting up DPI, digital public infrastructure. Okay, the money gonna be there. All right. So yeah, man, it's not about the crime in this suburban, upper, middle class, neighborhood in New York State. No, they need, they're rolling out surveillance infrastructure. Okay. But that's a major part of this new system is the surveillance aspect. Okay. So let's play some more.
End up coming through, but Flock goes and meets directly with the police chief. And I think the pitch is simple. Just if you have these cameras, you're not going to have to devote as much resources and personnel to solving crimes because you can track people wherever they're going. You have a body of evidence here, which is a major Fourth Amendment concern. You're supposed to have probable cause before you're doing a search and seizure of evidence on someone. So this is persistent surveillance that is constantly collecting information whether or not someone's committed a crime. And when I went into Scarsdale to cover the story, there were a lot of people in the area, and I grew up nearby. It's the same all over the tri-state, where there's a lot of people who are landscapers who are from other countries, and there were a lot of people who came to the village board and said, 404 Media has reported that they're giving this data to ICE so that they can track immigration cases and track people they're suspecting of being illegal immigrants that they want to take. They've also used this data to track people getting abortions across state lines. So it's not so much about Scarsdale. It's about establishing a national network in case someone happens to drive through Scarsdale that they want data on.
But the national network piece, I think, is important, right? Like the fact that these local municipal police departments don't have to go through a process of, say, collaborating with X county to pursue a specific case, essentially makes it so that there's kind of this like privatized, almost federal surveillance aspect that can be tapped into legally by these municipal police departments. I mean, that's fairly unprecedented, I would imagine. Also because, like, say if you were to collaborate with the federal government and they had that kind of information, that would be a more formal process too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've now started to sort of pivot how they establish their camera network and grow their camera network. They have 5,000 cameras cameras in 5,000 communities. It's over 88,000 cameras in 49 states. So they're already all over the place. But because now people are starting to push back at the municipal level, they started this thing called the Thriving Cities Fund, where they pay for private businesses to put their cameras on their property. So what does it mean for our democracy if those cameras are street view facing and then law enforcement gets access to them through Flock directly or the private business. So that's what we're dealing with, is they're amorphous. They're willing to use any avenue to put their cameras up. What does it mean in terms of antitrust law if they're going to pay for their own expansion as a company to put cameras everywhere? Anyone can buy license plate reading cameras. But what Flock offers that's unique, I would say, is the national network that you can track people across state lines, wherever they happen to go.
Let's talk about that national network, but I also want to get to that sort of like no bid process that you'd covered in Scarsdale, because that seems important to me too. But do we have a sense of how networked these are throughout the communities? Like, I mean, obviously within the context of the community, all the cameras are networked, but has Flock begun to build a national database that would allow for the feds just to be sitting in DC and sort of tracking somebody going from, you know, I don't know, from New England to Arizona or something?
So we know because there have been cases of this happening. In the case of Johnson County, Texas, a sheriff was able to search the 88,000 camera network because they subscribe to this model where if they share their data with other Flock municipalities, they get access to search those cameras. And so they were tracking a woman who crossed state lines to receive an abortion. This became a major case. They searched cameras in states like Illinois, where abortion is legal, to prosecute this case. So what does that really mean? I mean, we know that ICE has accessed these cameras before. There's been cases in Westchester County, actually, where federal officials access the data. And when Flock is questioned about this, you know, are you collaborating with the federal government? They say, well, it's not our data. The data belongs to the towns. So what happens if they get a subpoena? They give a really unclear answer, or they say, well, Scarsdale, we'll let you know that we've gotten the subpoena so you can protect yourself. And maybe you can ask us if you don't want us to fulfill the subpoena for the data with the federal government. But we deal with this on a case-by-case basis. So they answer like a politician, even at a time when they were pitching Scarsdale for the contract. And the village board was asking these very specific questions around who owns the data, can the federal government access it? They were given indirect answers. And
we can tell you, all right, and we can tell you for free, okay, that the government has access to it, okay? Because it's all about this new system they're rolling out, okay? You know, Esau's not doing this, okay, for the sake of security purpose. Okay, that's the pitch. All right, he's doing this for the sake of perpetual surveillance. Okay, so let's go here, man. And this devil, he like I say, he's rolling it out, man. Okay, Esau's mind he's hardened. You know, it just says, you know, you read about Pharaoh, okay, being hardened. Okay, well, Esau, we're seeing a man that's hard in real time. Okay? And this man's mind is made up to try to go for it all, man. Okay? So he's rolling out the infrastructure to get to the next phase of his agenda, okay, of the New World Order, man. Okay? Like when this C-HIP, see these billions and tens of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars being spent, this is the infrastructure that you're going to be hooked to if you take this man's device. Okay? Like I say, this device ain't just, you know, to allow you back access, okay, to Subway, you know, to Wingstop, you know. No, when this man makes this thing mandatory, he's going to be hooking you to, all right, a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure that he's rolling out, that he's building out. Okay, which is all about tracking, control, okay, and imprisonment, man, enslavement on another level, digital enslavement, man. Okay, so let's go here. All right, and we can end it here. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 12, verse 22, it says, I start 21, it says, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel saying the days are prolonged and every vision felt? Okay, because people, I especially our people, as the Lord has set up, watchmen, to report these things real time. Okay, you have our people that still move with no urgency. There's no urgency to repent. There's no urgency to come into the understanding of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. They're not tapping in, to be circumspect of what's going on. Okay, they're just going about, their lives willy-nilly, walking right into the trap. Okay, the masses are walking right into this trap, man. Okay, niggas worried about Christmas, niggas going in debt, behind Christmas and these wicked holidays, and niggas already trying to plan what they're gonna do for New Year's and Esau is rolling this thing out, man. Okay, and the masses are just walking and stumbling, into this trap. Okay, this digital prison, man. And this seat is gonna be Esau closing the door on your ass, man. To the digital prison. All right. Ezekiel 12:23 says, "Tell them therefore, they'll say the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand and the effect of every vision." Okay, the effect of every vision, everything that our forefathers seen. All right, because John the Revelator, he's seen, this system being set up. He's seen this technology being implemented in the earth, man. Okay, so we're at the time, where all the visions of our forefathers, even the visions of nuclear destruction, civil unrest, teeth of wild beasts, famine, everything that our forefathers, the Lord showed our forefathers in visions, and had them to be, written down and inscribed. They're here now. They're beginning to speak, and they're getting louder and louder. So, that's the point. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters are edified once again. And give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations, and hopefully, shalom.